Pereira is your fighter of the year. I hope that he wins that award, and I don't know that he will. The World MMA Awards started taking ballots a meaningful amount of time ago. They're probably about to close. I can't in good conscience tell you that I remember Pereira being nominated. I'm not positive he's nominated for an award that he absolutely should win, and I'm coming to you guys hoping you elevate him and he could win it. And it's not only the World MMA Awards that does it. The UFC has an awards as well. It's just not an awards show. They do acknowledge Ariel Helwani has an awards show. And you might know of 5 or 6 other ones, but they're not as respected within our industry. And Alex Pereira is the fighter of the year. He should be respected and honored that way, recognized in front of our community. Alex Pereira is terrible. Alex Pereira is an amateur. Alex Pereira is a master of nothing. Alex Pereira is the most unlikely guy to go on to make a technique video that you would buy. He is the most unlikely person to put on a seminar that you would take your child who's an aspiring fighter to go down and learn the secrets of, because he doesn't have any. He's a black belt of nothing. All of those things are true. Oh, by the way, there's a comma. I'm not done yet. Same paragraph. Continuing on. He has 2 belts that are both gold. He has no black belts, like I said. He doesn't have a brown belt. Like I said, he does have 2 different belts that are gold. Both of them say unified. He has a higher ranking belt and status within our class system than Tom Aspinall right here and right now. Just to give you a perspective for that. He is headlined twice within this calendar year, which is where Fighter of the Year comes from, Madison Square Garden, sold out both times. He was the champion of the world at 185 pounds in this calendar year. He is the champion of the world at 205 pounds right now. Only thing he did in between is defeat a world champion named Jan Blachowicz. Alex Pereira is the fighter of the year, and I'm more curious of how we got here, because this isn't the first time, guys. It's the second. It's the second, but it's being missed. And I don't want to miss it, because one thing that history does, if we don't learn about it and learn from it, is it will repeat itself. Some of the ugliest things, atrocities even, must be taught to our kids, so that they can observe it, not do it again, and it doesn't repeat itself. Now, I know we're on a lot smaller scale, but there is a lot of rinse and repeat, and there's a lot to learn. Look, before you can talk Alex, back up to Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou going to a sport that he had never done before. He liked it. He saw it. Boy, there sure was parts of it that he was used to, and I get all of those things. But please also get my point. He went into a sport that he'd never done before. And he almost, on day one, showed and was recognized that he was the best in the world. Best in the world at a sport he'd never done before. That's really hard to wrap your head around, but you still haven't gotten to the good stuff yet. He's 37 years old. In fact, I don't know how good some of that record keeping is. People get nervous when I say this, but I say it because it's part of the story and it complements and serves Francis. To go out and do something at 22 can be a really big surprise. I'm a wrestling fan. Over the weekend, we had a high school guy who is a wrestler. He wrestles every single day, but he jumped levels. He went and took on a college guy. And even though it's the same thing, it's just a different level, and you don't intertwine those two. College kid that could go out, of course, lose, but lose in a closer fashion, could show some real potential. Over the weekend, we had a high school kid who beat a college kid. Exact same sport they both do, but different levels. That is shocking news. That was shocking news. But you will see things like that within the youth. You'll see somebody that comes over to a sport, they did something really wonderful, but you look back in the summer before, they were at the Olympic Games winning the bronze medal. Like, it's an age thing. For Francis Ngannou to go and do it while being the older fighter with no experience, and to break into something new, a new sport, no matter how much pieces of that new sport resemble pieces of your current and or old sport, there's not an example that you could give me where it's been done. In any sport, you go swimming, tennis, you have no sport where a 37-year-old with no experience looked to be better than the reigning world champion. And when I bring up Alex Pereira, he is 35 years old, at least. And I don't know that I believe he's better today than he is the night that he debuted. I don't know that. There's some guys that show some really clear gains. Adesanya, whose career is tied to Pierre, or vice versa. Adesanya showed us some extremely clear gains. Take him down and you'll beat him. The next step in Adesanya was they did take him down, but they couldn't hold him there. The next step, and it came so darn fast, is you just couldn't even take him down. Within 15 months of the guy, take him down and you'll beat him. Yoel Romero couldn't even take him down. There was these incredible gains. I don't see that from Pereira, and I don't think that you do either. Now, I'm going to need you to concede that point, and even if it's not literal, yeah, I kind of need you to go, I know what you mean, Chael. If I can get that out of you, yeah, I know what you mean, Chael. If I can get that out of you, I can then show you that Pereira and the field weren't that close. I can prove that because that was what finish represents. If Pereira can win the 85-pound world championship, but he does it by finish, which means there's a gap. There's a gap between him and where they can't even close out a match. Then that's the part where we can make up, even if we don't see eye to eye, but I got you to say, yeah, I know what your point is, Chael. That's where we can make that up. Or you look at what he just did. He finished. He stopped. Best 205-pounder in the world, who has been there and done that, gone through all of them. All Pierre was doing, or all Yuri Prochazka was doing, was coming to pick up the championship that he'd never lost. And there was a stoppage, which means there was a gap. So even if you won't fully say, Chael, of course he's better now, if you can just go, I know what you mean, then that gap would make up for it. And what is my overarching point? My overarching point is that it looks like Pereira could have come into MMA and won the championship on night one. There is nothing like your first. There's nothing like your first try. So in theory, Francis Ngannou, 5 fights in boxing from now, not knowing anything about it, just in theory, knowing that he's going to have them, 5 weigh-ins, 5 training camps, 5 media tours, 5 times inside those ropes. In theory, he will do better on 5 than he did on 1. And so the theory that Pereira is doing better on, this was only number 10, guys. If I'm wrong, it was 11. I don't sit around and have guys' records in my head, but I know I'm close. He was like 8-2 coming into this. Or he's 8-2 coming out of this. This was either fight number 10 or it was fight number 11. But can we agree that's not much, particularly when you find out it's the second world title fight? There was other world champions along the way, multiple arenas, multiple times in a main event at Madison Square Garden, all inside of what I'm telling you was 10. And if I'm wrong, 11. That is shocking. So if Pereira could have won the world title on day one with no experience, much like Francis could have won the world title in boxing on day one with no experience. How did we get here? Let's start with that. The reason I talked about history repeating itself and the reason I'm coming to you guys. Who else is there? Who else is there that we know in our heart of hearts has the skills right now and don't have to get any better? Khamzat Chimaev is not any better today than the day that he debuted. And a lot of you said he could be world champion tonight. A lot of you might be right. Khamzat Chimaev just got a victory over the guy that was the world champion when he got here. I'm arguing for you, he's not any better now. And now that match just happened, Chimaev won. What do you want to do with that? Food for thought, we'll never know. Well, there's a lot of truth that we'll never know, but my point of who else is out there right now, why are we making the same mistake? Why are we allowing this mistake to be making? It's all based on us being experts in sport, and by God, that's just not how it works. But I just watched a high school kid take out the defending college champion. That wasn't supposed to work that way either. I don't believe that Francis in 5 boxing matches is going to be better than he is now. I believe right now he can beat anybody, including the best in the world. I do not believe that Alex Pereira is better today than the day that he debuted. Now, all of these are broad strokes. They're all broad strokes. But when it comes to the who else is there and why aren't we giving their shot right now? There's a guy named Duplessis that December of last year was an undercard fighter I had no idea who he was or where he was from. They were calling him Duplessis. It was 3 letters, and some were even calling him DDP, and I assumed he was French-Canadian because it reminded me of GSP. He is now favored to win his next fight, which happens to be for the World Championship. And I'm still going to have to wonder, and I'm still going to ask you who else is out there, because I don't believe that Bo Nickal has to get any better. I don't believe he has gotten any better. I wouldn't know with the level of competition he's going in at, a guy that's a negative 2,400. I wouldn't know if that guy is better than the first time I saw Bo fight on TV through Dana White Contender Series, or the second time that I saw him fight on TV through Dana White Contender Series. Like, those guys look the same. But the guy in Bo looked like he could beat anybody out there. And the concept that Bo doesn't get to try because I feel is getting weakened. And it's not just Bo. There's others out there. Tatiana Suarez is 11-0. There's not a woman out there that can touch her. There is not a woman who has ever touched her. It's not about her losing fights. She doesn't lose rounds. But getting that opportunity and getting somebody to believe that you at 11-0 deserves to go with a 3-time champion who's had 4 times as many fights, it's tough. I don't argue that it shouldn't be. I just want to bring it to your attention. We never thought somebody with no experience could beat the greatest ever. Well, until Francis did it, or did what we thought was doing it. We never would think that Pereira, a striker, could come in reverse. My God, this is a grappler's world. Well, Pereira's got 2 of your belts, 2 in the same calendar year. He sold out your most famous arena twice, also in the same calendar year. He's never had a wrestling match. Doesn't know what ASIC Tiger is. Didn't go to a junior high school, or above that university that had a program in wrestling. He does not have a belt in jiu-jitsu, let alone ever into an actual jiu-jitsu competition. So yes, a striker came over, and all of you grappling nut huggers, of which, right, I get it. We just got a mirror put in our face. But now we do have to answer the question, who else is out there? Who else with limited experience can come into our world and take over? And I will submit my name for you, and then I'd like you to go. My name is Bo Nickal.